The room was buzzing with laughter, clinking glasses, and the faint hum of a playlist I had painstakingly curated for my birthday. Please stay with me as I tell you my story. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Your support means a lot to me. Now back to my story. Balloons swayed gently, casting playful shadows across the walls. I smiled at the sight of friends and family gathered, oblivious to the storm about to hit. Then my sister stood. A hush fell over the room. All eyes turned to her, curiosity and confusion dancing in everyone's gaze. "I have a surprise," she announced, her voice dripping with false sweetness. My stomach sank, a cold knot forming in my chest. I have a child," she continued. And my heart skipped. "With your husband." The words hung in the air, heavier than any balloon or decoration. Glasses clattered to tables, murmurs erupted, and I felt as though the room had shifted beneath my feet. I froze, eyes locked on her smirk, searching for any hint of a joke, but there was none. My husband's face went pale, his lips parted as if to speak, but no sound came out. Shock turned quickly to a fiery pulse of anger. How could she do this here, on my birthday? My special day. My mind raced, replaying the past months, the late nights, the unexplained absences, the subtle lies I had ignored. And now this, a secret child, revealed like a dagger, in front of everyone I loved. I sank into a chair, trying to steady my trembling hands. The party that was supposed to celebrate me had transformed into a nightmare. Guests whispered, some casting sympathetic glances my way, others looking between the two of us, in confusion. But beneath the shock, a spark ignited within me. This betrayal wouldn't define me. I wouldn't crumble, I would find the truths, confront them both, and make sure no one, including my sister or husband, ever dared humiliate me like this again. I stepped out onto the balcony, the cool evening air doing little to calm my racing heart. The murmurs from inside the party faded, replaced by the sound of my own thoughts, pounding in my skull. How long had this been going on? How could my sister betray me so publicly? My husband followed quietly, guilt written across his face. I didn't mean for you to find out like this," he stammered. His voice, usually steady and comforting, sounded small and weak. I turned to him, eyes blazing. "Don't even start, just explain. How long, when, why did you keep this from me?" He swallowed hard, glancing at the party through the sliding glass doors. "It started months ago. She told me she was pregnant. And I panicked. I didn't want to lose my career. Our life together, I thought I could handle it." I felt a sharp edge of betrayal cut through my chest. Not only had he hidden this from me, but he had allowed it to continue in secret, letting my sister manipulate him. And now the world knew. And then the twist hit me like a punch. The child wasn't just a secret, it was a tool. My sister had been planning this reveal for weeks, possibly months, timing it for maximum humiliation. Every smile, every compliment, every act of innocence had been carefully orchestrated to destroy me. Anger surged alongside a chilling realization. This wasn't just a moment of betrayal, it was premeditated. And if I wanted to protect my dignity and uncover the full truth, I needed to act fast. I clenched my fists, the battle lines were drawn. This wasn't the end of the story, it was only the beginning. After the party, I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed every moment, every smile my sister had flashed me over the past months. Something didn't add up. That innocent charm, those carefully timed compliments, suddenly felt like a mask hiding months of deceit. I pulled out my phone and began combing through old messages, screenshots and emails. At first, it felt like looking for ghosts, trying to see the truth in moments I had dismissed as insignificant. But soon, a pattern emerged. Late-night texts between my sister and my husband, vague excuses for disappearances, deleted calls, all pointing to secret meetings I had never known about. The more I dug, the more horrifying it became. My sister hadn't stumbled into pregnancy by accident, as she had claimed. Twist, evidence suggested she had planned this child as leverage, a way to control my husband, and by extension, me. Every innocent act, every interaction, had been calculated to destabilize my life. I couldn't believe I had missed it. I thought I knew my sister, but the mask had hidden a calculating predator. And the child, innocent as they were, was at the center of a web designed to destroy me. I realized then that this wasn't just personal betrayal, it was psychological warfare. And if I wanted to protect myself and reclaim my life, I couldn't act on impulse. I needed strategy, allies, and undeniable proof. A spark of determination lit within me. I wasn't going to let my sister and husband rewrite the narrative, humiliate me, or steal my life. I would expose the truth, piece by piece, and make sure everyone, including the world, knew the full story. The game had changed. I was no longer a victim. I was preparing to strike back. I decided it was time to confront my sister. Alone, no witnesses, no interruptions. My pulse raced as I walked toward her apartment, rehearsing my words, trying to channel my anger into something sharp and controlled. She opened the door, smiling that infuriating, perfect smile mask she always wore. "Oh hey, I thought we'd talk." Her tone was casual, but I saw the glimmer of triumph in her eyes. I stepped inside. "Enough games," I said, voice steady despite the storm inside me. "Tell me the truth, why did you do it? Why reveal your child at my birthday, in front of everyone?" Her smile widened, chillingly calm. "Oh, it wasn't just for drama," she said, leaning back. "It's about power. You have everything: attention, admiration, people who love you. I wanted to see who really respects me. And honestly, I wanted to see if your husband would choose me." My stomach twisted. The betrayal wasn't just about the child or him, it was about me being publicly humiliated, stripped of control, left gasping while she reveled in my destruction. I clenched my fists, suppressing the urge to scream. "You won't get away with this," I said, voice low but dangerous. "I'm going to expose every lie, every secret. And when I do, you'll see that manipulating people only works until the truth comes out." She laughed softly, a sound meant to unnerve me, but it only fueled my determination. Twist, she had more secrets than I realized, possibly plans that extended far beyond just my husband and birthday humiliation. I left her apartment, with a plan forming in my mind. I wasn't going to let her control the narrative. The next move had to be mine, and it would be calculated, precise, and devastating. I knew I couldn't face this alone. My sister's game was intricate, her manipulation subtle yet deadly. I needed allies, people I trusted to help me uncover the full truth without tipping her off. I called my closest friends, the ones who had been quietly observing, the ones who had always noticed when things didn't add up. One by one, they met me in discreet locations, offering support and insight. One friend handed me a folder of screenshots and messages she had noticed between my sister and my husband. Another revealed the subtle manipulations my sister had used over months to isolate me emotionally. Twist, the more evidence I collected, the more horrifying the picture became. It wasn't just my husband and sister conspiring. It was a web of lies involving family friends who had unknowingly assisted in keeping me in the dark. I felt the weight of betrayal pressing on me, but also a surge of power. I was no longer a victim in the shadows. I had proof, witnesses, and a plan forming in my mind. I decided to start documenting everything meticulously. Dates, conversations, photos, messages. Every interaction, every subtle gaslight, every lie had to be recorded. The goal wasn't just revenge, it was exposure, ensuring no one could deny the truth when the time came. As I prepared, a spark of hope flickered. Twist, one of my allies, revealed that my sister had been sloppy, small inconsistencies in her stories, a trail of digital breadcrumbs, all pointing toward the larger betrayal. If I played my cards right, I could turn her own carelessness against her. By the end of the night, I felt a strange calm. The storm had only begun, but now I had wind in my sails, allies at my side, and a plan. The next move was mine, and I intended to make it count. The more I dug, the more the web of deceit unraveled. I had assumed the betrayal ended with my husband and sister, but the truth was far darker. Twist, I discovered he had been hiding financial secrets, diverting money from joint accounts, and covering up decisions that could have ruined me had I not acted. I sat at my kitchen table, scrolling through emails, messages, and bank statements, my hands trembling. Each new revelation felt like a punch to the gut, but also fueled the fire burning inside me. My sister hadn't only exposed my private life to humiliate me, she had been part of a larger scheme. Then came the shocking piece: the child. The secret child wasn't just a result of passion or impulsive actions. Twist, my sister had planned to use the child as leverage, securing influence over my husband, and even potentially controlling aspects of family wealth. The innocent face she showed the world was a mask hiding cold, calculated manipulation. I realized I had been underestimated. They believed I was naive, easy to manipulate, and incapable of uncovering the truth. But now, with every proof I had collected, I knew I held the upper hand. I contacted my allies again, sharing the new evidence. Together, we devised a plan to expose the full scope of the betrayal, ensuring nothing could be denied or twisted. This wasn't just about reclaiming my dignity, It was about exposing manipulation, deceit, and lies for all to see. As I prepared for the next confrontation, I felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. Twist, my husband, who I once trusted implicitly, had placed himself in the crossfire, and I was ready to hold him accountable, alongside my sister. The next move would change everything. The family gathering was supposed to be innocent, a brunch to celebrate a distant relative's achievement, but I knew it was the perfect stage. Eyes would be on me, every whisper amplified. And tonight, the truth would be revealed. I arrived early, my allies subtly positioned, ready to support me if needed. I felt a surge of adrenaline. This was my moment to reclaim control, to expose the tangled web of lies spun by my sister and husband. As the room filled with chatter, my sister's smirk returned. She leaned casually against the counter, confident, certain her game was still intact, but I held the folder tightly in my hands. The evidence I had meticulously gathered, a timeline of messages, emails, photos, and financial records. I cleared my throat. I have something everyone needs to see, I announced, my voice calm but commanding. Gasps rippled through the room. Heads turned. My sister's confident posture faltered slightly. One by one, I revealed each piece of evidence. The messages proving secret meetings, the emails showing manipulation, and the financial records exposing my husband's hidden dealings. Twist, guests who had been sympathetic to my sister were now horrified, realizing the depth of the betrayal. My sister's smirk vanished. She tried to interject, but my allies stepped forward, confirming every detail, reinforcing the truth I had uncovered. My husband shifted uncomfortably, his excuses collapsing under the weight of undeniable proof. Twist, the final revelation shocked everyone. My sister had attempted to frame me for mistakes I hadn't made, but the evidence exposed her manipulation completely. By the end of the confrontation, the room was silent, the balance of power shifted. I had reclaimed control, exposed deceit, and ensured that no one could gaslight me or rewrite the narrative. The game had ended, and I had won. The day after the public exposure, tension hung thick in the air. My sister was silent, her usual confident demeanor replaced by calculated caution. My husband avoided my gaze, shifting nervously whenever I entered the room. I knew the final confrontation was inevitable. It couldn't end with whispers or half-truths. I asked both of them to meet me in my study, away from prying eyes. My heart pounded, but I felt a steely resolve. This wasn't about revenge anymore, it was about closure and setting boundaries. You both know why we're here. I began, keeping my voice calm. Measured, you've lied, manipulated, and humiliated me. You've involved a child, family, and friends in your schemes. This stops now. My sister tried her usual tactic, smiling slyly and shifting blame. But I interrupted. No, your games are exposed. Your lies are documented. And I will not allow either of you to gaslight me or anyone else again. Twist, I revealed one last piece of evidence. A recording of a conversation where my sister had explicitly admitted to planning the birthday humiliation. The room went silent. My husband's face paled, realizing there was no defense. I took a deep breath. I trusted you both. I loved you, but your choices have consequences. I am giving you a chance to make amends, to step away from manipulation, or face the consequences of your actions fully. Neither spoke for a long moment. The weight of truth hung heavy, and I felt a sense of vindication settle over me. I had confronted them, not with anger alone, but with undeniable proof and clarity of purpose. By the time I left the study, I felt lighter, stronger, and ready to reclaim my life. The confrontation had stripped away pretenses. What remained was truth, and for the first time in months, I felt free. The days following the confrontation were chaotic. Word of the exposure spread through family and friends like wildfire. Whispers turned into discussions, and discussions into heated arguments. Everyone wanted to know what had really happened. And finally, the truth was undeniable. My sister, once the queen of manipulation, found herself isolated. Friends she had counted on began distancing themselves, realizing they had been unwittingly supporting her schemes. Twist, even distant relatives, who had blindly admired her, now questioned her motives, shaking the foundations of her carefully constructed facade. My husband, for the first time, truly faced the consequences of his choices. He tried to explain, to seek forgiveness, but the trust he had broken wasn't easily repaired. I watched him grapple with guilt, understanding that some actions leave permanent scars. For me, the fallout was bittersweet. Twist, some family members who had doubted me or taken my sister's side, now apologized, acknowledging that they had ignored subtle signs of manipulation. Their acknowledgement was small comfort, but it reinforced that truth, once revealed, has the power to reset the balance. I also found unexpected allies in those I had once considered peripheral, friends and distant relatives, who had quietly observed my struggle and now stepped forward to support me. Their loyalty reminded me that integrity often outlasts deception. Through it all, I realized that reclaiming my life wasn't just about exposing betrayal. It was about understanding who truly respects me, who stands by me, and who allows manipulation to flourish unchecked. The family was fractured, but the fractures revealed the truth beneath appearances. The storm had passed, but its lessons remained, and for the first time, I felt a cautious sense of peace, knowing that my strength and clarity had not only exposed betrayal, but had also safeguarded my dignity and future. The air was crisp that morning, as if the world itself had shifted in my favor. The chaos, the betrayal, the heartbreak, it all felt like a distant storm I had weathered and survived. I stood at the threshold of my home, looking out over the city lights, and for the first time in months, I felt a sense of clarity and control. My sister had retreated into silence, her schemes laid bare for all to see. My husband, humbled and remorseful, had begun the long road of making amends, though I knew some bridges might never be fully rebuilt. Twist, the most shocking revelation came from an unexpected source. My sister had secretly confided to a mutual friend, admitting that she had never anticipated my resolve or the meticulousness with which I had documented every detail. She had underestimated me. I smiled, a quiet, victorious smile. It wasn't about revenge, it was about justice, dignity, and reclaiming my life. The allies I had gathered stood with me, offering unwavering support. Together, we had dismantled deception, exposed lies, and restored the truth. I took a deep breath and walked into my home, feeling the weight of freedom settle comfortably on my shoulders. The storm had left scars, yes, but it had also revealed the strength I never fully recognized in myself. Twist, even my husband, now aware of the depth of my resilience, realized that true respect and trust could no longer be taken for granted. I made a quiet promise, to myself first and foremost, that I would never allow manipulation, deceit, or humiliation to define my life again. The birthday betrayal, the secret child, the lies, all of it became a catalyst, transforming me from a victim into a force no one could underestimate. As I poured myself a cup of coffee, sunlight spilling across the room, I felt an exhilarating sense of renewal. This was no longer just survival, it was rebirth. And for the first time in years, I was free to chart my life on my terms. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more stories.